They were about to sign an $800 million deal. Her hands hovered over the contract, her entire life balanced on a single signature. She believed this was the moment everything finally made sense. The years of rejection, the nights of doubt, the sacrifices no one ever saw. What she didn't know was that the man approving the deal had already shaped her destiny once before. He owned the company that destroyed her first dream. He had erased her past without ever learning her name. And now, without recognizing her, he was about to fund her future. This wasn't just a business deal. It was a collision between power and truth. And when the truth finally surfaced, everything was about to change. The glass walls of the conference room reflected the city like a living thing, breathing light and motion into the space. Cars moved far below like glowing veins, unaware of the moment unfolding above them. Lena Carter sat perfectly still at the long table, her hands folded tightly together to hide the slight tremble in her fingers. She had waited for this day longer than she could remember. 15 years of rejection, sacrifice, and quiet endurance had led her here. In front of her lay a contract so thick it felt unreal. Its pages filled with language that could change her life forever. $800 million, a global partnership, a future that once existed only in her imagination. The executives across from her spoke calmly, their voices smooth and professional, as if deals like this happened every day. Lawyers whispered, assistants moved in and out with tablets and documents. Everything felt controlled, polished, distant. But inside Lena, emotions collided. She remembered the nights she slept beside humming machines, afraid to turn them off. She remembered the small apartment where leaks dripped onto her notes. She remembered being laughed out of offices, told her ideas were too ambitious, too risky, too unrealistic. More than once, she had stood in the rain outside glass buildings just like this one, wondering if she should finally give up. Yet she never did. Now the same world that ignored her was asking for her signature. The lead negotiator smiled and slid the contract closer. Congratulations, Ms. Carter. This partnership will redefine the industry. Lena returned the smile, though her chest felt tight. Thank you. I didn't come this far alone, she said, thinking of every failure that taught her how to stand. What she didn't know was that the most powerful person behind this deal wasn't sitting at the table. He wasn't smiling, he wasn't speaking, he was watching, unseen, from above. Ethan Hale sat alone in a darkened office, the only light coming from a massive screen showing the conference room below. He preferred it this way. Distance made decisions cleaner, emotions complicated things, and Ethan built his empire by avoiding unnecessary complications. To the public, he was a myth shaped by headlines, ruthless, brilliant, untouchable. People believed he controlled industries with a single phone call. In truth, Ethan avoided attention whenever possible. He disliked handshakes, disliked applause, and despised being praised for decisions he considered obvious. Numbers mattered, vision mattered, people were variables. That was how he survived his climb to the top. The deal unfolding on the screen had already passed every financial test. The projections were solid. The risk was acceptable. $800 million was bold, but boldness built empires. Still, Ethan watched closely, more closely than usual. Lena Carter didn't speak like other founders. She didn't oversell. She didn't beg. Her confidence was quiet, hardened by years of being dismissed. There was no desperation in her voice, only certainty shaped by struggle. Ethan leaned forward slightly. Who is she? He asked through his earpiece. His assistant responded quickly. Independent founder, no major investors, no family backing. She built everything herself. That answer unsettled him. People rarely reached this level without leverage. As Lena spoke about responsibility, long-term impact, and ethical control, Ethan felt an unfamiliar pull. Her words echoed thoughts he once had before success taught him to suppress them. He told himself it was coincidence. He told himself it was just another deal. Still, he didn't turn the screen off. He stayed, watching, listening, unaware that the woman speaking below was already connected to him in ways he never imagined. Section 3. A truth beneath the surface. The night before the signing felt endless. Lena sat by her hotel window, the city glowing beneath her like a sea of stars. Sleep refused to come. Every rejection she had ever faced returned uninvited. Every failed pitch replayed in her mind. What if something went wrong at the last moment? What if the deal disappeared like so many promises before it? By morning, exhaustion clung to her, but she dressed carefully, grounding herself in routine. At headquarters, she was escorted through quiet hallways that smelled of polished floors and authority. The final room was smaller, more private. Just a formality. An executive said, "The owner may join us briefly." The owner. Lena had heard the stories, cold, calculating, untouchable. She expected an older man, distant and severe. When the door opened, her breath caught. Ethan Hale entered without ceremony, no introduction. No display of power, yet the room shifted around him. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them. Lena stood and offered her hand. "Mr. Hale, it's an honor." Ethan took her hand, holding it a moment longer than expected. "MS. Carter," he replied quietly, "I've been looking forward to this." As they sat, Ethan studied her features, searching his memory. A workshop years ago. A woman with determination in her eyes. A project everyone dismissed as impractical. The lawyer slid the contract forward, but Ethan raised a hand. "Before we sign," he said, "why didn't you sell this earlier?" Lena answered without hesitation, "Because I wasn't building an exit. I was building something that deserved to exist." Ethan felt a sharp recognition. "What was your first company called?" he asked. Lena hesitated. "Aurora Systems." The name hit him like a blow. Aurora Systems was his, and he had destroyed it. The silence that followed felt heavy enough to press against the walls. Executives exchanged uneasy glances, sensing something they didn't understand. Lena watched Ethan carefully as realization crossed his face. "Aurora Systems," he said slowly. "I acquired it years ago. I shut it down." Lena felt a familiar ache rise in her chest. The years of struggle suddenly had a single point of origin. "That decision erased everything I had," she said, not with anger, but with truth. "But it also taught me how to survive." Ethan listened, something rare for him. "I thought the risk was too high," he admitted. "I didn't see the vision." Lena met his gaze. "Power doesn't make decisions better," she said. "It just makes the consequences larger." The room froze. Ethan could feel the weight of expectation. This was the moment he could walk away, cancel the deal, protect his reputation. That's what people like him were supposed to do. Instead, he did the unthinkable. "I was wrong," he said. The words shocked everyone, including himself, "and I won't make that mistake again." He pushed the contract toward Lena. "This deal stands." Lena reached for the pen, then paused. "I need one thing," she said. Ethan nodded. "Say it." "I stay in control of the vision. No silencing, no shortcuts." Ethan smiled faintly. "You've earned it." The signatures were placed, ink dried, the deal was sealed. It wasn't just a business agreement anymore, it was a reckoning. The announcement sent shockwaves through the industry. Media outlets focused on the staggering number, calling it one of the largest deals of the decade. Analysts debated profits and risks, but the true impact couldn't be measured on balance sheets. Lena didn't disappear into corporate comfort. She led with intention, building a company that valued people as much as progress. Opportunities opened for those who had been ignored, just as she once was. Her success became proof that resilience could outlast rejection. Ethan changed as well, though fewer noticed it at first. He stepped back from the shadows, questioned decisions he once made without hesitation, and listened in rooms where he used to dominate. When asked years later which deal mattered most, he didn't mention the money. "It reminded me that humility is not weakness," he said. "It's clarity." Lena stood on a stage one evening, lights warm against her face, looking out at young dreamers who reminded her of herself. "I once didn't know the man signing my future owned my past," she told them. But sometimes life closes doors not to punish you, but to teach you how to build your own. The audience rose in applause, not for the wealth, but for the truth, because legends aren't formed by comfort or luck. They are forged when perseverance meets accountability, and when power finally learns to listen.